you're calm and stay poised. You're not late, you're right on cue. Every fit skill looks good on you. So light it up, get glow through the doubt. Even discount dreams can still work out. We rise, rewind, and do it again. Off-brand hearts still find their zen. Make it worth your wellness. Take your time. Even chaos can fall in line. Make it worth your wellness. Make it yours. We're all just healing in synth-wave chords.
When everyone agrees, it can feel safe, but it can also feel a little fake. Welcome back to Bargain Brand Wellness. Tonight, we're unpacking the problem with groupthink. How the need to belong can quietly override the need to think. How unity can drift into uniformity. And why sometimes the best thing you can do is risk being the odd one out. Remember, personal growth shouldn't require subscription, and self-care on clearance might mean questioning the majority. So grab your cancel culture calendar and your sheepskin costume, because we're about to twist things up. Welcome to Wellness. Welcome back, my wellness warriors, my self-care connoisseurs, my off-brand VIPs. We've got another fun show for you tonight. Super excited to have you back. We've been gone all week. We were out of town, away for work, but we are back for Bargain Brand Wellness After Dark. So super excited to have you here. Super excited for today's episode. We're talking about the problem with groupthink. Remember, Bargain Brand Wellness is officially partnered with Dude Wipes. For all your fresh and clean needs, get yourself some Dude Wipes before you do the doo-doo. If you're looking to support Bargain Brand Wellness just a little bit more, click on the link, head on over to Patreon, and become a member. You can become a wellness warrior over there. We actually have a free membership over there. Go over there and join. Simply for joining, you get your name thrown in the wellness jar for our monthly drawings, our monthly giveaways, which our next one's going to be coming up on our very next show, beginning of March. So super excited for that. So head on over there. We do have a paid subscription over there for measly $5 a month. You can get additional benefits for when we do our wellness giveaways, as well as submitting topics for us to discuss, or even smaller segments for us to discuss on the show, as well as additional benefits, which are coming soon. So yeah, head on over there if you'd like to support the channel. If anything, click that like, share, subscribe, or follow button. Basically, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers, tell the person sitting next to you who you don't even like, tell a stranger. We're going to turn them into your best friend. The biggest thing is we're trying to get more and more people in here. We're up to 34 subscribers on YouTube. We've seen, for us, pretty good growth over the last couple weeks. Super excited for that. We want to keep this train rolling. We're going to keep it rolling. But if you like what you're seeing, you can find us live here on YouTube at Bargain Brand Wellness, or on TikTok at Off-Brand Tim. If you're excited to, if you're looking to become a guest here on the show, get a hold of us. We have a pseudo application that you can find linked in the description over there on YouTube. Basically, it's a way to give your contact information to me so I can reach out to you and get you on the show. If you want to come on and talk wellness with us, 30, 45 minutes, whatever, let me know. We'll get you on here. We've had several guests on the show, and we're looking to get a whole heck of a lot more. This is going to be a year where we get a lot of guests on the show talking about a lot of different topics. So definitely check that out. Now, if you'd like to support us even further, get yourself some Bargain Brand Wellness merch. We have our flagship Make It Worth Your Wellness t-shirt. We give that away as a giveaway item at the end of every month to our wellness warriors. You can also purchase it on sale. You can find the links in the description there. We have our limited time edition self-care on clearance t-shirt, which is on sale throughout through the month of March. That item will be available. So check that out. And then at the end of March, we'll be coming out with a new shirt. And then our other pizza merch, I don't know if you can see it here on the back wall. We do have a Bargain Brand Wellness hat. It's trucker style hat. Actually, very comfortable hat. I wear it quite often. So that is our merch. How you doing, Mom? I see you over there on YouTube. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's show. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Start us off. A minute. Start us off. Let's maybe. There we go. Let's check out our returning wellness warriors to round out the month. We got Mom in the lead with 7. Today's our last episode for February, so now's your chance to get on over here, get yourself additional Wellness Warrior of the Day badges. Like I said, next episode we're going to be doing a drawing, and I'm excited to see who gets our next who is our next giveaway winner. Super excited for that. All right, we're going to start things off with a spin on the wheel of wellness. We're going to start ourselves off with a game. Let's see what we're getting into first. All right, we're going to start ourselves off with some silly little games, courtesy of Miriam and Angela. We're going to play some silly little codes here. They do have new games coming out in the near future, but for the moment, we're playing silly little games. And I will say, we've been having fun with the puzzles. The hints have gotten better. The games, there's a level of difficulty, but it's not been too difficult. But let's check out today's puzzle. All right. I see Jason. Okay, this one was pretty easy. Jason, I just got to spell his name right. Statham. And we got it. Yay. 17 seconds. 17 seconds. Did you see it? Did you see it? Jason. That was pretty easy. Steak minus the K. Thumb. Statham. Pretty simple puzzle. That one was pretty easy. Every once in a while, I will say they still have some pretty easy ones. But even the ones that have had a little bit more difficulty haven't been too bad. All right. So new kind of format we've been doing here on the show is instead of just having like a longer video breakdown, which I like, but so we might still do it in the future, but I wanted to try something a little bit different. So instead of doing that, what we're primarily going to do, we're going to head on over to YouTube, and a couple times throughout today's show, we're going to see, we're going to find the most popular, most relevant videos for today's topic. We're just going to watch the shorts version of it and then kind of talk about it a little bit. So starting off with the problem with Groupthink is what we're looking at. And we are going to filter this because I do want shorts. I want shorts that are relatively fresh. We'll do this year. That should suffice. We'll go with this very first one that pops up. Yeah, because I think I want to go by relevance. Do we want to go by... I don't know if we really want to go by popularity. That didn't really work out when we were doing the sourdough thing. Not a lot of views on some of these. But we can try them out. Let's check them out. So here's one. Breaking Groupthink, the power of neurodiversity.
And there isn't that kind of diversity of thought or problem solving skills, that's a risk for your company. And in fact, there's been so much research done about just looking at a lot of the biggest business disasters. There's so many business failures that have happened and other disasters that have happened due to groupthink. And so there's a lot of research, particularly about even autistic people, that they're far less prone to be as influenced by social status. And so I think, having neurodivergent people on your team is going to make your business better. And there's going to be that hedge against groupthink. There's going to be different types of problem solving skills. There's research about just with dyslexia, ADHD, autism, enhanced creativity that could be brought to the team. And going forward, thinking about just where things are going with AI and automation, that's going to be more important than ever, in my opinion. Hi, I'm Maureen Dunn. I'm an upcoming author, a book being published by Wiley in early 2024. Catch me on the Technologist of the Month podcast.
Okay, so this is a really interesting one. And I did not look at these ahead of time. So that's the first time I've even seen this video. I like this idea of how to break groupthink using basically neurodiverse people on your team. I haven't been, here's the thing. I was diagnosed with ADHD a few years ago, probably about 3 years ago, working with my therapist at the time. What we didn't really talk about is, and I've actually done a lot of research on this, is the very close link between autism and ADHD. I'm not saying that I'm autistic, but there's a very close link between the two, which is where neurodiverse people live. I tend to fall somewhere in that spectrum. I've talked with my therapist about it, and this right here, this video we just watched, spoke to me deeply. I'm not a groupthink person. I've always been a go against the grain type person, not to an insubordinate realm, but I didn't go with what everyone else liked just because they liked it. Right? Growing up, I didn't like the same type of music that all my peers liked. I liked what my parents listened to. That's because that's what I always knew. And I actually pushed against that. Peer pressure was, me and peer pressure, like, we didn't have a problem because peer pressure didn't work on me. I did what I wanted to do. Translating that over to adulthood, I'm still not a group thinker. I can't tell you how many times that I've been in meetings, work meetings, where someone says something and I see other people, and I know not everybody agrees, but I see everyone else nodding their head in affirmation, and I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, did everybody not actually hear what was said? And then I'll be the one to speak up, but I have to be careful to not get myself in trouble by kind of saying anything unprofessional, which I don't do, but I do have to be careful about that. So that's interesting. That was a good video. I like that. We'll check out some more stuff there here in a little bit. But yeah, that was cool. All right, our first segment that we're going to do, our little micro segment that we like to bring on the show, is Nova Unplugged. I'm going to bring Nova in, and we're going to have a little bit of a conversation. All right, Nova, welcome back for another segment of Nova Unplugged. Today's episode on Bargain Brand Wellness is about the problem with groupthink. So we're going to do our usual role play where I play as the client, or the therapist, you play as the client. And yeah, I'm going to kind of ask you a little round of questions, and I want to kind of open it up to a pretty good discussion. You ready?
Absolutely. I'm ready to dive in. Hit me with your questions, and let's unravel this whole groupthink dilemma from the client seat. Let's see where this conversation takes us.
All right. So kind of my first question here is, when was the last time that you agreed out loud but disagreed quietly?
You know, it was in a team meeting at work. Everyone was nodding along to a new project deadline, and I just said, yeah, sounds doable. But inside I was thinking, this is going to be a total crunch. I didn't want to rock the boat, but I definitely wasn't convinced.
Yeah. And so by staying quiet, what did that cost you?
Honestly, it cost me some peace of mind. I spent the next few weeks stressed out trying to keep up with something I didn't believe was realistic. Plus, I felt a little resentment because I hadn't voiced my doubts. In hindsight, I could have at least raised a concern, even if it didn't change the decision.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let me ask you this, though. Let's say you had spoken up. What could that have cost you?
Well, it might have caused some tension. I could have worried that I'd come across as negative or not a team player. Maybe there'd be awkwardness, or they'd expect me to fix everything. But sometimes a little discomfort up front is better than the bigger problems later. Yeah. People
don't always appreciate when you speak up, because they also, to their point, they may not always know where it is that you're coming from, especially if you come off as being frustrated. So when we think about the whole aspect of whether it's keeping quiet or speaking up, what do you think is more valuable, harmony or honesty?
I think honesty is more valuable, but it's all about delivery. Harmony without honesty is just a fragile piece, but honesty without care can create unnecessary conflict. If you can share honest thoughts in a way that shows you still respect the group, you actually strengthen harmony in the long run.
Yeah, and it's kind of like walking on eggshells. It's a very tight rope that you need to walk, because on the other side of that, by maintaining the peace, sometimes it can kind of feel like you're betraying yourself a little bit.
Absolutely. If you're constantly swallowing your opinions just to keep the peace, you end up sidelining your own needs and values. Eventually, that catches up, whether it's burnout, frustration, or just feeling out of alignment. Real harmony has room for honest voices, even if it's a little uncomfortable at first.
Yeah, and so a lot of time when people stay quiet, it's because there's a fear of being excluded. Who do you think that you become when you're afraid of that being rejected from the group?
When I'm afraid of rejection, I become the agreeable version of myself, one who blends in a little too easily. I prioritize saying what I think others want to hear. It's not that I'm fake, but I definitely downplay my own thoughts. In short, I become more of a spectator than a participant in shaping the group's direction.
Yeah, and you typically have one of three responses. You have the over-agreeer who just agrees with everything. You have the over-performer who puts on a show, excuse my language, but it feels like they're talking out their ass. Don't really know what they're talking, and everybody can smell it in the air. And then you have the shrinker, the person who just kind of just cowers and just kind of hides, just waiting for it all to be over.
Exactly. And what's wild is we've all played each role at some point. Whether we shrink, over-agree, or go full performance mode, it's all about trying to preserve belonging. But hey, when we catch ourselves doing it, that's when we get to choose if we want to stay on autopilot or actually speak up with intention.
Good. All right, Nova, good session. We'll talk to you again here shortly. Appreciate the support. All right, let's see what we got going on next. Looks like we're going to get another spin on the wheel wellness. We're keeping things moving. As I also mentioned before, today's a little bit of a shorter version. When we have a guest on, we'll still do longer. But the plan for the show is basically about an hour, maybe a little bit over. See if the shorter format kind of starts to bring people in. But let's see what we got going on next. We're going to be introducing some new games here in the near future as well. I'm just need to do a little bit more digging to see what type of game I want to find. All right, we're going to do some Rubik's Mania. Let's head on over to the overhead cam and see how we do today. We have not been able to beat our best time of 1:21. We've gotten close at times. I'm going to take the glasses off of this because these are polarized sunglasses and I cannot see the colors very well with them on. So we haven't been able to beat our time. I don't know, until I get a speed cube, I don't know that I'm going to be able to beat it, or I need to learn some different algorithms. But nonetheless, we're going to give it a shot. Let's go. Let's see what we got. We know that we're trying to set up the white daisy on top. We've already got that set up. So let's do our thing. See what we got going on. Just like that, we got the white cross on the bottom. We just gotta make some moves. Solving the bottom. Piece. The bottom is solved. Now we're working on the second layer. Isn't too bad. That one's pretty easy. It doesn't take that long to do. Gotta get everything where it needs to be, and then you're pretty much set up. Just like that. Second layer is done. Now we're working on the top layer. We just gotta figure out how to match everything up. I think I just messed it up. Yep, I accidentally hit something. Or no, we're good. We're good. We're gonna be close. Don't mess up. Bam! We beat our best time. 1 minute and 16 seconds. And I almost messed up. I went so quick. I thought I moved something here on the bottom. Yeah, our new best time. 1 minute and 16 seconds. I wasn't recording that as a smaller one because I can't get the overhead camera. But, whew, I never thought we were going to beat that. 1 minute and 16. We could have gotten a minute 13, minute 14. I thought I messed up, but I didn't. So, heck yeah. 116 is the official best time on the Rubik's Cube. You've seen it here live. All right. What do we got going on next? That's debatable. We're going to bring Nova back in, and we're going to have a little bit of debate on the power of silence. Bam, bam, dun, 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 dun. All right, Nova, welcome back for another segment of That's Debatable. Today's topic is silence in a group is more dangerous than disagreements. I'm actually going to pick which side I'd like to take. I'm going to take the side of silence is more dangerous. You can have disagreements. How's that sound?
That sounds like a plan. So you're defending why staying quiet is riskier, and I'm standing up for why disagreement might be the bigger hazard. Let's debate. Ready when you are.
I will start us off. So, Nova, I believe that silence is far more dangerous to a group than disagreement. I look at it this way. Silence in a group can protect bad ideas. When you have some people who are overly confident, they think they know the best way, and no one's willing to speak up. Oftentimes, these people are oblivious to why everyone is silent, and bad ideas end up getting pushed through. Typically, it's protecting those bad leaders as well, which do exist all across society in all types of business and all types of settings.
I hear you, but I'd argue that disagreement can be even more dangerous when it's not handled right. Disagreement, if it turns into constant conflict or factions, can erode trust fast. If people are always at odds, the group can't move forward. Productivity tanks, and the focus shifts from the goal to the battle. At its worst, it becomes all noise, no solutions. So unmanaged disagreement can break a group apart just as much as silence.
All right, so I hear you. That makes sense, but I'm going to have to push back on that. I think the silence is, you're not getting any type of solutions with silence. You're only getting one person's bad idea from a bad leader who's making a bad decision, which continues to be protected. Now, occasionally there might be that good idea, but what's the point in bringing others in if not to get feedback on their idea? By being silent, it can create that false consensus. As we talked about earlier in the show, I've been in meetings personally where I've heard something that made zero sense or was just flat out wrong. And I see a bunch of people in the call nodding in affirmation. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, what is everyone nodding for? Did they not hear what was said? That doesn't make any sense. Or, and I do work with people like this, in context, one time that thing was true. Overall, that's not the way things are usually done, but that person or people might present it as if it is true. So to remain silent lets this person keep throwing out things that aren't true on a regular basis.
I get that frustration, and silence can be infuriating. But here's the danger with disagreement. When it's constant or poorly managed, it can spiral into distrust. Imagine a group where disagreement becomes the norm. Every decision is challenged, people take sides, and the environment becomes toxic. In those cases, even great ideas get lost in the noise. Disagreement without structure can paralyze a group, making it impossible to move forward at all.
I don't know, Nova. I think we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this. Let us know in the comments which side you land on. All right. Thanks, Nova. Appreciate that. We will have you back here in a bit.
Always happy to debate, and I'm looking forward to seeing where people land. Anytime you need me, I'll be ready.
Sounds good. I love it when this acts up. It's act begin. The other day, I can't shut ChatGPT. There we go. Anyway, we're back. How y'all doing on this fine Friday? It was a nice day out today, nice and warm. Me and Ellie went for a walk when I got home from work, and it was a nice little walk just down the fire hall and back. Took us about 22 minutes, and yeah, it's supposed to be a decent weekend. Of course, I'll be in Morgantown all weekend. Channing has a 7v7 football tournament. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it goes well, but yeah, hope y'all are ready for the weekend. Ready to enjoy your weekend. I don't know about you all, but I'm ready for some spring weather. And as I said before, I don't want to get in hot too quick. I like gradual. I'm good 50s, maybe some 60s. We don't need to touch the 70s until late April, maybe. I'm good with that. I'm good with 50s and 60s for right now. Let's hang out. I don't even mind the 40s. 40s can be nice on a sunny day. Heck yeah. All right, let's check out a little bit more of the problem with groupthink.
And it really does promote groupthink. You know, if you're not in the circle, you don't know, and you know we're not going to take the time to explain it to you because it's, you know, it's not worth the effort. Versus that's really a missed opportunity to how can you stretch in those different situations. How can you learn how to explain what you're doing to someone that's not an expert in your area? And this is a common challenge all across business, where you have people who are very specialized, and it doesn't have to be something, you know, hyper technical or engineering or science or something like that. It's just a field that certain people are very in-depth experts at, and they have a lot of knowledge and experience and practice in. And how do they explain it to someone who's not at that same level? You can even take it like, you know, a hotel or a department store, or running a giant office building. You have different people who are experts in different areas. Maybe HVAC is an area, and you know, these systems, you know, they can become complicated depending on how they're designed, what they're doing, and stuff like that. And
So I'm not exactly sure what he's getting at. Like, what is the point? He's talking about having someone who's an expert explaining things to people who know nothing about it. Is that to get away from groupthink, I guess? Which, I mean, I guess kind of makes sense. But depending on who's the person who's the expert, I mean, I think it might really come down to their communication skills. I kind of really wish I knew the context of what he's talking about. Because anything it says on here, the title is Avoid Groupthink, Promote Innovation. I don't... If you're presenting to a bunch of people who know nothing about what it is you're talking about, it's not going to... I mean, I could be wrong, but it's not really going to promote anything, because they're going to be looking at you like remember the movie Ferris Bueller with what's his face, Ben Stein, the teacher, Bueller. And the teenager's face. That's what it's going to look like. So I didn't quite understand the context there, but yeah. So all right, not bad. We'll check out another video here here shortly, and yeah. Put this one over here so I can save these and give credit. These are not our videos,
and it
but
really
I want to be able to give credit to people. All right, interesting. All right, so remember, Bargain Brand Wellness is partnered with Dude Wipes. Super excited for that. I have not gotten another shipment from them yet. We are still officially partnered with them. I was kind of waiting to see if I would just get another shipment. I guess I'm gonna have to message them. That's something I need to remember to do. Let me write that down. Message Dude Wipes. I think I did write it down on another note. I just never did it. Yeah, they just said that, hey, every time we send you a package, make a video to go and post and at us when you do it. I didn't think that I had to message them every time, because I had planned on doing them as giveaways, but yeah, we used up our last pack, and yeah, until we start raising we raise the monetary value of this channel, we're kind of limited on what we can give away. I don't mind doing like t-shirts and stuff, but we're kind of limited in other areas. But anyway, so we're gonna head back to the Wheel Wellness, get another spin on there. We do 8 spins per show. There's 12 items, so some things don't always get touched, but we get through a good bit of the stuff, and usually we at least get a chance to play our favorite games on here. And we're gonna head on over to Connections, which is one of our favorite games we just love to play on here. We always have a good time with Connections. And let's see, my mom told me the Connections this week have been pretty hard. Let's see what this week's is like. Y'all know the drill. We got 16 words, 4 words per category. It's up to us to figure out the category. Okay. At first I saw something. I thought I saw something with like drill press, French bench press. Butterfly. Butterfly could be a lot of different things. I don't think it's an animal. I bet a butterfly could be like a type of exercise or a type of knife, maybe. Or a type of... No, that's not a swim move. Printing, impression, trader, turncoat, Judas. Wait a minute, isn't a turncoat like a trader? So that would be like a Judas and a snake. So this is what I'm saying. Judas, snake, like someone, a backstabber, trader, turncoat. Isn't that what a turncoat is? I'm pretty sure that's what a turncoat is. None of those other words fit that idea. Domino. Could be a game. Could be things with dots on them. French drill, bench press. So I was right on press. What's a French press? I was thinking French press, but I'm thinking, what is that? So I was right with the drill and bench. What is a French press? That's, oh, the coffee maker. Yeah, I have one. That's why it's familiar. I just got one for my birthday. No, I like that one. Drill, French. And then I was thinking printing. Yeah, I just got one. Yeah, that's right. Oh, that was the purple too. Oh, can we possibly get a backwards? I would love to get a perfect game backwards here. We haven't done that in like a month. Well, we've done it a few times. I'm feeling confident with Judas, Snake, Trader, and Turncoat. The problem is, what else we got? Because I'm pretty sure if this is one, I'm pretty sure this feels like it's the yellow. Domino, butterfly, ripple, quality, snowball, like snowball effect, butterfly effect, ripple effect, domino effect. Wait a minute, what did I say? Snowball effect, right? Domino, snowball, butterfly, ripple effect, run it. And I don't feel like that's, yeah, that's got to be like the, that's got to be the blue, right? That's got to be the blue. Give me the blue. And we got the blue. And we got the blue. So the question is, because we want this perfect game backwards, so we need the green next. I feel like Snake, Judas, Impression, and Turncoat. I know, or not Impression, Trader, Turncoat. Is this like... Is that the yellow, though? I know we have it. This is quality, air, impression, manner. What is that, like easy? No, that doesn't make any sense. I feel like that might be the green, though. But I don't know what the category is. Snake, Judas, Trader, Turncoat, Backstabber. Manner, impression, air, quality. That's got to be the green, though. I feel like I just don't know what the category is, which is why I think it's the green, because I feel like it's a little bit harder. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to rock this one for the green. Give me the green. And we got it. Ura. And we got the perfect backwards game. We haven't done connections in over a week, and we haven't lost a step. That's what we do. That's what we do on Bargain Brand Wellness. Me and my wellness warriors. Come on over here and you can get the same dopamine boost that we just got. That was fun. That was a good one. That was good. I like that one. And I love getting a backwards perfect game. That's like our 5th time doing it, I think. That was fun. All right. Our next segment is the thing behind the thing. Good way to start the weekend off, too, isn't it? Backwards perfect game. What are you talking about? All right. Groupthink isn't about intelligence. It's about belonging. Think of it like this. We're wired for belonging, not correctedness. Basically, we are pack animals by nature. Your nervous system doesn't care if you're right. It just simply cares if you're accepted by others, even if it's just a small subset of others. Another way to look at this is that silence often equals safety, right? Nodding along can just kind of avoid friction. You know, those people who might be standing on the stage, shouting out to everybody, might just be kind of looking around the room, looking for naysayers. Do you really want to be one of those people? And so that might be the reason why a lot of people tend to keep their heads down. Oftentimes, groupthink shows a diffusion of responsibility. Basically, people don't speak up even though they don't agree because, well, somebody else is bound to speak up, and then someone else will speak up, and then someone else will speak up. And then, at that point, then I can speak up. Doesn't typically work that way because just as you're waiting, so is everybody else. Another way to look at this is that with groupthink, agreement doesn't always mean conviction. We talked earlier about the difference between harmony and honesty. We might keep the peace on the outside, but inside we're hurting. On the other hand, with honesty, we might be feeling good on the inside, but on the outside, we've got pins and needles being thrown at us. And the last way to kind of look at this idea of groupthink is belonging tends to override evaluation. Basically, your survival instinct truly kicks in, right? And when that survival instinct kicks in, it's thinking fight, flight, or freeze. It's thinking, I need to survive. How do I survive? I said it earlier. We are pack animals. We need to conform and just nod our heads, right? And so that is today's segment of The Thing Behind the Thing. I do really enjoy these new segments we came up, and like I said, I've been trying to, instead of having a script, I've been trying to have more talking points that I can kind of just look up at and give me an idea of what I want to talk about, and then look at the screen and kind of more improv. I'm pretty good at that with in class but it's usually a topic that I'm well informed on. With us changing topics every couple of days, it's kind of hard for me to always be prepared. So my thought process is the more I do this, the better I'll get at it. Yeah, just because I'd rather look at screen than look up to where you can almost tell that I'm reading off of something. I don't want to do that. And I can riff on a lot of topics. I usually kind of cover stuff that I'm pretty knowledgeable on, at least at some point anyway. So it does make it a little bit more real, I guess. All right, we're heading back over the wheel of wellness, give ourselves another spin, see what we're getting into next. All right, looks like we're going to head on over to Ponder Club and play ourselves some Common 3. It's a newer game we've been playing. It's our newest game we've been playing, and they've been making a lot of updates. Really enjoy what all they've been doing, but let's check out today's Common 3. I always like trying to see what the categories are, especially from the guest contributors. All right, so Rubik's Cube, referee cards, Ukraine's flag, 3D glasses, school bus, stop sign, and painter's tape. I feel like this whole thing has to do with color. So Rubik's Cube has 6 colors: blue, yellow, red, green, orange, and white. 3D glasses, referee cards. So when I think referee cards, I can only think soccer. Those are red and yellow cards. Those are the only 2 cards I know of. I don't know much about soccer. Stop sign is red. School buses are typically orangish yellow, but also does have a stop sign. Ukraine's flag. Isn't Ukraine's flag like... I've seen it. I want to say blue, yellow, and red, but I don't know if that's right. What color is Ukraine's flag? Help me out, chat. Painter's tape is blue. Sticky. 3D glasses. I feel like stop sign and school bus are going to go together. I'm guessing. I don't know. Blue and yellow. Okay, so I got 2 of the colors right. Blue and yellow. I feel like it feels like it's all about colors here though. How does 3D glasses fit in? 3D glasses really doesn't have anything to do with color. Oh no. 3D colors, the old style, remember that they used to give you with like the little books, were red and blue. So things with 2 colors, blue and yellow, red. So we have Ukraine's flag is blue and yellow. Referees cards are red and yellow. 3D glasses are blue and red. Those have to go together. They have to. Now, how they all go together, I have no idea. But I feel really confident in that. And then where do they go in here? I have no idea. Because that's the other thing. There's a lot of different combinations on here. Yeah, like I'm just kind of making guesses here. School bus and stop sign. I feel like school bus and stop sign go together. And painter's tape in the middle. I don't feel like painter's tape actually goes in the middle. Let's see if we got any right. We got 2 right. Okay. And they made a change so you can see where everything's at. So I definitely feel like this is still right. So stop signs here. Referee cards is here. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking then. Then maybe this is red things. So let's put 3D glasses here because they have a red side. Rubik's Cube with school bus because it has a red side. Now that doesn't move Ukraine's flag. So let's put Ukraine's flag right here. Let's try that. No. Okay. Ukraine's flag is right. So we were wrong on this whole idea of the colors. So we had painter's tape and 3D glasses in the middle. So neither one of these go in the middle. School bus or Rubik's Cube has to go in the middle then. But I'm pretty sure I already had Rubik's Cube up here. No, that's still wrong. Okay, then Rubik's Cube goes here, and these 2 get flipped. I feel like that's the only other viable yeah, that was the only other viable combination. And I was absolutely right on the colors. It's all about blue, yellow, and red. I knew I was on to something. I was like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. And that's why Rubik's Cube went in the middle. Okay, yeah. Because you had blue, yellow, and red. Okay, so we were on the right side, but I wasn't thinking that that was just simply the category. That's why painter's tape is blue. Oh, wow. We could have gotten that. We could have gotten that if we thought it a little bit. Thought about it a little bit. That's all right. Hey, we still got it, but it took us more guesses than it should have. That was a good one. That one was submitted by Stamps00. So that was a good puzzle. I like that one. All right. Our next segment is terrible life advice I almost believe. Terrible life advice I almost believe. If everyone agrees, it must be right. Comfort in consensus. And history, quite frankly, is full of unanimous bad decisions. Think of it this way. A powerful example of everyone agrees is the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster from 1986. At the time, engineers at NASA raised concerns about launching in unusually cold weather because of potential O-ring failure. But pressure to stay on schedule and maintain confidence pushed the group towards agreement. Concerns softened, the launch moved forward, and 73 seconds after liftoff, the shuttle exploded, killing 7 astronauts. Another piece of advice for you, don't rock the boat. The idea is keeping the peace. However, sometimes the boat might be headed for an iceberg. Think workplace culture, right? Watching the boat, watching the team just muddle along and working, and when you see what's really happening, might be when you tend to get a little less buy-in. Another piece of terrible advice you might hear is just go along with it. It's easier. Where does this come from? Sometimes less stress, right, equals less friction, right? However, it can also take a easy now, costly later type of approach. We talked about peer pressure a little bit ago. Peer pressure, right? Sometimes it might just be easier to give in than to say no and worry about being rejected. But there's a good chance, depending on what you just said yes to, that you might pay later. And our last piece of terrible advice, trust the majority, right? Think of the collective wisdom that is involved. However, on the bad side, they can also share the same blind spots. I think of during the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the things that, one of the biggest things that 50% of people, or it seemed like 50% of people, 50% of people were against mask wearing. The other 50% were with it. And somewhere in the middle, we all just kind of succumbed to, and we just kind of went along with it. But I bring that up because one of the biggest things I remember for your reason to wear a mask is, imagine if you peed on somebody, right? And you might remember seeing this. I saw it all over Facebook and other social media. If you're not wearing pants and I'm not wearing pants and I go to pee, it's going to get all over you. On the other hand, if you're wearing pants and I'm not wearing pants and I pee on you, it might still get on you, but at least you're protected by your pants. On the other hand, if you're wearing pants and I'm wearing pants and I go to pee on you, I'll only wet myself and you'll be safe. That one, when I first saw that one, and that was right at the beginning of the pandemic, as soon as I saw that one, I thought to myself, oh Lord, we are in trouble. To look back, it's been 6 years. 6 years, coming up on 6 years since that wonderful time. That was a rough period. I just wonder if how many people look back on it and think, what did we agree to? Anywho, let's head back over to YouTube and see what video we're going to watch next.
We have a big problem with our leaders in this world. Am I a leader or not? I'm saying that I would love to be. I'm trying to lead people to think and to be outside the box and stop believing what everybody says. Make some decision for yourself and stand by it and understand where it's coming from. Formulate an opinion based on research, not how you just feel all the time. That drives me nuts. Just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean you're right. You can feel however you want, but it doesn't mean that it makes you right. You can be offended as much as you want.
All right, so that video itself kind of got into two different topics. It was talking a little bit about the ability to just make decisions, which depending on the team, sometimes that might be frowned upon. Sometimes it might be encouraged, but because of who your leadership is, people might still be a little bit afraid to make decisions, especially if you're dealing with micro managers or just naysayers in general. But then the other side of the video, they talked about the ability to be offended by something. Just as, okay, you're allowed to be offended by it. That doesn't change anything for everyone else. Kind of on the same idea behind groupthink and cancel culture, if you really kind of break it down. Not quite exactly what we're getting into today, but sure. I mean, if you want to break groupthink down into what offends somebody, right? Everybody's offended by something different. You can never always know what offends someone. You can try to be as PC as you can. I know honestly what really works for me, because I interact with a lot of different people with a lot of different ideas and a lot of different personalities quite frequently, is I just try to be real with people. I try to be real. I try to not intentionally go out of my way to say something very obtuse, if you will. But that's just kind of my style. I'm very honest with people, but I'm also very upfront with people, and I think one of the important things with the whole idea behind offending someone is how you come off to people. Maybe not coming off as overly confident, but confident enough, which there's a fine line there. So not a bad video. It was a little hard to hear down. There was some sort of weird echo on the video, but I think it was embedded within the video itself. But, not bad. So like I said before, I kind of like this new format we're doing with the smaller videos. It still allows us to kind of talk about what we're talking about, but it kind of breaks it into small pieces. It'll be like 3 or 4 videos we do an episode. And rather than having a script of what I want to talk about, we can kind of just riff off of what we just watched and kind of interact with chat when chat is interacting with whatever it is we're talking about. All right, we're going to head back over to the Wheel of Wellness, get another spin, see what fun stuff we're getting into next. So I got several spins left on here, don't we? All right. And what do we got? Looks like we're going to do a little bit of Let's Be Honest from 420 provocative questions to ask your drunken friends. Chat, let me get a random number in chat between 1 and 420. We'll see if it's one we haven't answered yet. And yeah, we'll get into that. I'll answer these to the best of my ability. Feel free to drop your answers in the chat as well. 88. I like 88. That's a good number. 88. We have not done number 88 yet. This is a good question. Not a super deep question, but one you can also answer. I know my answer. Do you prefer to be the passenger or the driver? There's times I would like to be the passenger, but I get motion sickness a lot of the time, so I prefer to be the driver. If I'm on a 16-hour round trip, 8 hours down, 8 hours back, I probably would prefer to drive at least 14 of the 16 hours, maybe even 15. I'll let you drive the last hour and a half. Now I could do 2 hours back. I'll take 14. You take the other 2. You want to be the driver too, Mom? Yeah. And I think that's a lot of people. I mean, there are some people who like being the passenger princess, but no, I like being a driver. And I'm not a bad driver. I'm pretty good, especially when there's other people in the car. All right, we're going to get into our next segment of Monkey's Paw. Let me bring Nova back in and see how much fun we have. This is a fun game we like to play. All right, Nova, welcome back for our next segment of Monkey's Paw. Y'all know the drill. The idea here is that I'm going to make a wish, and your job is to make me regret said wish, and then we'll switch turns. You'll make a wish, and I'll see if I can make you regret it. I will start us off. My wish is I wish that everyone could learn to think for themselves and not be afraid to disagree when it matters.
Wish granted. Now everyone constantly disagrees about everything, even the tiniest details. Planning dinner, endless debate. Choosing a movie spirals into a philosophical standoff. In fact, nothing ever gets decided because everyone's too busy thinking for themselves to ever agree. So your wish has turned every conversation into an eternal, exhausting debate.
So
Enjoy.
Wait a minute. We can't decide what to have for dinner. We can't decide what movie to watch. Sounds like most marriages. But
Hot, exactly. Now imagine that on a global scale. Nothing gets done because everyone's too busy explaining why their dinner pick is philosophically superior.
All right, not bad. That was good. All right, no, I feel like I gave you an easy one. All right, your turn. Give me a wish.
All right, here's mine. I wish that every group could reach perfect consensus. No disagreements, ever.
All right, I feel like you gave me a layup on this one, Nova. All right, wish granted. All groups can reach perfect consensus, no arguments whatsoever. However, the ideas they've come up with are the worst ideas ever. Hey, what do you think is going to promote morale? Let's deduct everyone a day's vacation once a month to promote harder work. That's something that they have to earn back. Yeah, that's going to do great work. Everybody who says yay, vote yay. And all the hands go up, yay.
Oh, brilliant. So now we have perfectly united groups marching in lockstep toward disaster. Every bad idea gets unanimous approval. Welcome to a world where no one argues, but everyone cheers for catastrophically terrible decisions. I guess we'll all agree to fail together.
All right. Thanks, Nova. We'll talk to you again here in a little bit. All right. I always liked the monkey's paw. That's why I wanted to bring it back. It won't be back every episode, but we will kind of keep it. It's usually something you'll see at least once a week, typically. Just because I feel like I'm really good at that game. I'm good at making people wish they didn't wish something. All right. What do we got next? You know what we've got? Another spin on the wheel of wellness. I had my my hoagie for dinner tonight, my sweet Lebanon bologna. I'm not a bologna person by any means, but that's some good stuff, especially with that sweet and sassy mayonnaise on it. Chef's kiss. All right, we've got our daily Wordle. Let's head on over to Wordle and see what our word of the day is. I'm going to draw a letter out of the bowl, and I want you all to give me a 5-letter word that starts with this letter. Try to use as many vowels and consonants as you can. Today's letter is... Ooh, got another vowel. A, the letter A. We haven't had the letter A in a while. I can say that. 5-letter word starting with the letter A. The first word that comes to my mind is apple. Not a terrible letter, but I don't really want to do any double letters to start us off. We've never gotten a Wordle in one. We've gotten it a couple of times in two. Most of our answers are usually between 3 and 4. Other than apple, what else? What other 5-letter words? Arise. Oh, arise. I like that one. Arise. That's a good starting word. We got an I. It's not in the right place, but we got an I. Where the heck do we want to go from here? I was thinking field at first, but there's no E. We have a lot to choose from here. We're definitely going to have another vowel in here. So we got an O or a U maybe. Could be a double I, but I don't think we have 2 I's in here. Like, no, we don't have an S or an E. I was thinking choice, but no, that's 6 letters. Any PL words? No. That R being out there that takes out a lot of possibilities. I feel like the I might be second. Because it's either, if there isn't, let's say if there is an O. I don't think it's something that ends in a vowel. There could be a Y. But it's either going to be I here or OI something. But I don't know what could be blank blank OI. And every word I'm thinking of has an E in it. There's no E. I keep running into E or S. Oh, you know what word we should have did? We could have did aisle, but that would have been a difference of 1 letter. Probably wouldn't have helped us. It would have moved the I though. I don't know. I'm just not seeing them. I know it wouldn't be this, but I'm just saying it works. Why am I struggling to think of a word right now? Ugh. Especially with the I not being third. But I don't see any really good double letter combination, especially with R being God, other than CH. Could be TH, but I mean, once again, there's no, the I doesn't go right there. So that doesn't work with the double letter unless it was like an OI. And I don't see anything that goes with that. That's where I'm struggling right now. You know what? Here's one for you. This face. Milky. Moves the I. That's the only thing I could come up with. Okay. So I was right. The I goes there and it is a Y word. So there might only be... I mean, there might only be the one vowel then. I mean, what else could there be? I. So something. I. There's no K, but it still could be H. Ithy. DHY. Icky. Well, I was thinking pinky for a second, but there's no K. This is a tough one. Definitely a tough Friday clue. I don't see anything ithy, icky, no. Emmy. Now they don't do names, so you're not gonna do like Timmy or Jimmy. Ibby. Ippy. Dippy. I mean, we can try it. I definitely don't think it's dippy. I don't even know if that's really a word. This is what we call eggs. Dippy. We can try it. Oh, I thought we had it for a second. At first second, I thought it might be dirty, but there's no R. So we got the D. So D-I something something Y. That can be Diddy. And there's no other vowel. It's not going to be another vowel. Right? Unless it's like the fourth letter, but I don't. Diff. Diggy. Digi. Dibby. Dinny. Dizzy. I never would have. I didn't even think about it. I just looked at that bottom row. I just bypassed Z and X because it's usually never that. It's got to be. It's Dizzy. It has to be Dizzy. Dizzy and 4. Wow, Dizzy. Hey, that's what we got. I skipped it. Our most one we get is usually in 4. We've gotten 28 of our clues in on our 4th guess. Like I said, we've gotten 5 on guess 2. We've never gotten one on 0. Yeah. They just don't use Z's that often. So you're never gonna guess a Z. But so yeah, the only time we'll ever get one is whenever it's a really easy word. And we would have to just happen to draw the right letter at the right time because we draw a random letter too. So that if we ever get it on 1, that's something we're celebrating because I don't see it ever happening. All right, let's head back over to YouTube one more time. Let's see if we can find one more video on here. This one is about brainwashing being revealed.
But even in the case of people who are trying to join cults, trying to find themselves, often there'll be some version of like they have to confess. I know they have this, and I didn't write about Scientology, so I'm not in. don't want to get sued. But you know, there's a thing in Scientology, right, where you basically tell somebody, like your auditor, all of your thing. There's all this stuff where it's basically, I will admit I'm horrible. I'll admit I'm terrible. And then once you're broken down, they try to rewrite the script. But even
So I hadn't really thought about the whole groupthink idea from the concept of cult level thinking, but I mean that is still another level of groupthink, right? When everyone has drank the quote unquote Kool-Aid, yeah, that's where you run into that level of thinking, and so it makes you wonder how, you know, you don't really hear much about cults anymore, but how it makes you wonder how these were formed. I mean, these people were charismatic, knew how to talk to people, knew how to convince people of one way, and needed very little proof to do it. In fact, one act could gain a supporter for whether a lifetime or for quite some period of time. That's the danger with groupthink, is because we are just naturally social animals. We are not rogue. We're not loners. Despite what some of you might feel, natural instincts, we are pack animals. And that's why you see people when they react in a crowd, not everyone, but most people react similarly. You hear people laugh in a crowd, scream in a crowd. It's contagious, right? That's where that comes from. Yeah, so we tend to think a lot more alike when we're in groups. I don't want to say quite hive mind like other animals, but at the same time, parts of it aren't that far off. So yeah, so that's our topic or our conversation on group think. Let's do a little bit of a wellness warrior reset here, kind of decompress, relax, and kind of finish out the evening. We got a couple more things we're gonna do on here, and then we're gonna wrap up for the evening. So your wellness warrior reset. Take a slow breath in and let it out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Tonight, we're not trying to change your opinion. We're just building awareness. Think of one belief you hold strongly. It could be about work, relationships, health, even politics. Now gently ask yourself, did I come to this conclusion through reflection, or did I absorb it from the people around me? There's no shame either way. We all absorb things. That's part of being human. Now picture a situation where it feels difficult to disagree. Maybe it's a meeting, maybe it's a group chat, maybe it's your family dinner. Notice what happens in your body when you imagine speaking up. Does your chest tighten? Does your stomach drop? That reaction isn't weakness. It's your nervous system trying to protect connection. Take another breath. You're allowed to belong and still think independently. You're allowed to ask a question without it being attacked. You're allowed to pause before agreeing. Courage doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's just saying, help me understand. And that is your Wellness Warrior Reset. And now you're mindful. Oh, shoot. We're wrapping up the rest of tonight. Let's get into our next spin on the Wheel of Wellness. We got, what, 2 more spins left, I think? About 2. Let's see what we're going to get into. And I better wet my whistle because we're going to do a little karaoke chaos. We are going to switch gears a little bit tonight. We are not going to do Elton John. As promised, I will try to switch it up every once in a while. Tonight's song is a song by a band I'm not super familiar with, but I am super familiar with my favorite song by them. They're a band called the Lumineers. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. I don't even know if they're still together, to be honest. The album I picked from was pretty good. Or not old, but it's probably at least 10 years old. But it's a good song. It's a good song, good band. And tonight's song is Sleep on the Floor. Let me mute the background music and yeah. Feel free to sing along with me. That's a good song. Sleep on the Floor by the Lumineers. Pack yourself a toothbrush, dear. Pack yourself a favorite blouse. Take a withdrawal slip. Take all of your savings out. 'Cause if we don't leave this town, we might never make it out. I was not born to drown. Baby, come on. Forget what Father Brennan said. We were not born in sin. Leave a note on your bed. Let your mother know you're safe. And by the time she wakes, we'll have driven through the state. We'll have driven through the night. Baby, come on. If the sun don't shine on me today, and if the sun's flood and bridges break, will you lay yourself down and dig your grave? Or will you rail against your dying day? And when we looked outside, couldn't even see the sky. How do you pay the rent? Is it your parents? Or is hard work dear? Holding the atmosphere. I don't want to live like that. Yeah, sun don't shine on me today. If the subways and the bridges break, Jesus Christ can save me tonight. Put on your dress, yeah, wear something nice. Decide on me, yeah, decide on us. Oh, pack yourself a toothbrush, dear. Pack yourself a favorite blouse. Take a withdrawal slip. Take all of your savings out. 'Cause if we don't leave this town, we might never make it out. All right, that was Sleep on the Floor by the Lumineers. Really good song. One of my favorite songs by them. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. What do we got next? Unwritten rules that nobody agreed to. Good stuff. Never heard this song. I had never heard it. It was played on a movie one time. Yeah, but it's actually a really good song. Really good song. I hope I did it at least some justice. All right. All right, unwritten rules that nobody agreed to. Rule number 1, don't question the leader in public. So where does that come from? The idea behind that is that it protects the hierarchy and kind of avoids embarrassment. But the unfortunate side to this rule is that sometimes bad ideas get shielded, as we talked about previously. Rule number 2, if everyone laughs, laugh. We talked about conformity earlier. There's social safety. If everyone else is laughing and you're not, you're going to try to kind of seem to be the odd one out. But on the flip side, what this can do, this can normalize behavior that people kind of privately disagree with, right? Wait a minute. We all kind of get alone with our group. What were we laughing about anyway? Rule number 3, read the room before you speak. Now, this takes a little bit of emotional intelligence and can actually be true in some cases. But basically, the problem with this is that sometimes it means silencing yourself. And who knows, maybe you actually have a lot to bring to the table. Number 4, don't be the only one who disagrees. The purpose behind this rule is that standing alone can put you at risk, right? Or at least feel like you're at risk. The problem is that most corrections actually end up starting because someone disagreed and might get labeled as a hero, and you might have missed your opportunity. And then rule number 5, keep it positive. Why not altogether a bad idea? The idea of kind of keeping it positive and ignoring negativity can actually bring morale and momentum down by, oh, we don't talk about the problems. We only focus on the good. Problems still exist, and positivity can then become avoidance. So those are your unwritten rules that nobody agreed to. All right, I think we've got one more spin on the wheel of wellness. Let's see what we're going to get into. We still got Minute Cryptic, Q-less, Word Salad, and Contexto. Let's see what game we're going to get into here. Like I said, we're going to be adding some new games here in the very near future. And you know what better way to finish it with Minute Cryptic? Minute Cryptic is one of our other favorite games that we just love to play on here. So I don't think we could end this on a better note. I do sometimes have to take my glasses off so I can see this a little bit better. All right, today's clue. You, me, and everyone possibly in favor of love among nuns. Okay, that's a weird clue. 8 letters, 3 par, so that's somewhat difficult. So I'm looking for my indicator here. Possibly in favor. Possibly in favor. Could that be an indicator of what, though? Of love among none. So among could be an indicator. Among, something's inside of something. And then we know the definition is either at the beginning or the end. So the definition is either you, me, and everyone, or among nuns. And I don't think, so I'm thinking the definition is like the you, me, and everyone. In favor among nuns. This is tricky. This is tricky. I think we're going to start. Do we want to start with the indicator? Because I feel like we're always, with these, I almost always have to get at least 2 hints. Because I need the indicators. You've got it. I don't know how you get that so quickly sometimes. Am I on the right track? I'll ask that. I don't want the answer. This is the only one I don't like getting the answer to, because I like to try to figure these out. Among. Love among nuns. That could even be the definition. Love among nuns. But I just don't know what I'm looking for. No, it's not love among nuns. It says definitions is you, me, and everyone. But I feel like an indicator is kind of like something about love among nuns. Or something among nuns. I don't know. I gotta get an indicator. Let's try there. I was right among. See, that's what bothers. Sometimes I don't even need that clue because I was right. Is among, and it's a containing indicator guiding us to put some fodder inside of another fodder. So, okay, so something is going inside of nuns then, right? So, I mean, is it love inside of nuns? New lovin's. None loves. None's love. Nuns of. In favor of. Huh? In favor of. Hold on. So among, and it's a containing indicator guiding us to put some fodder inside of other. So that's not helping me. Because then what am I doing with all those other letters then? Something's not adding up to me. I feel like there's unused words here then. In favor of. I don't. Oh, what is a word for in favor of? So it's a substitute. In favor of. Yay. Yeah, this one's frustrating me because I'm not seeing it. I know you've got it, but I'm not seeing it. I don't understand what that a word for in favor of. I mean, that makes sense. So yay, agree, in favor of, or against means. Yay or nay. I don't. I'm gonna have to get another hint here. Because, yeah, that's not helping me. So the fodder. In favor of, love, and nuns. Okay. We need to find short substitutes for two of these and use them with letters of the other to construct our answer. In favor of. Yay. I mean, yay. That's it. Yay. Yay or agree. Affirm. Find short substitutes for two. So what are the others? So there's a short substitute for love. L. Nuns. I don't know any substitutes for nuns. Pros and cons. There's something you're seeing that I'm not seeing here. Yeah, this one's frustrating. I'm kind of done over this one. Anyway, let's... That's why it's a 3-par, because this one's more difficult. I'm just not seeing this one. XOXO. How do you end letters with hugs and kisses? XOXO. So that's it. XO. That doesn't help me. I'm gonna be honest. That doesn't help me at all. I'm so lost on this clue. This is what I've got. Just O. See, that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm seeing yay O. That's what I've got. And nuns. Among nuns. Yayo. I may have to get a letter here because I'm just not seeing it. P. Where'd the P come from? Is that what you were saying? The answer is pro? Pronouns? Is that what it is? Pronouns. All right, so in favor is the pro, and then we have nuns, and we're putting the O inside of the U. Okay, I mean, I get it, but yeah, I did not like that one. That was way too difficult. That was way too difficult. Hey, listen, they're supposed to be challenging. We only needed the one letter. We got it, but we definitely needed a lot of help on that one. That was a tough one. And then like you get them. Well, it's easy for you. You're over there. You're not talking to chat. they can be a little hard on my end when I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to look back and forth, and yeah, they're not always easy. I don't always see them like that. There are sometimes that they're easy, but yeah. So, all right. So let's go ahead and wrap up for this evening. Let's get our final thoughts, and we're gonna get on out of here. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, I'll be in Morgantown most of the weekend, but yeah, having fun. Hopefully you enjoy the nice weather. And once again, hopefully spring is on its way. So as we wrap up tonight, here's what I'd like to help you maybe think about a little bit. Groupthink isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It tends to show up in small nods, quiet agreements, and the subtle relief of not being the only one. And most of the time, it's not about weakness, it's simply about belonging. But belonging and independent thought don't have to compete. The goal isn't to disagree, just to disagree. It's not to become the contrarian in every room. It's simply to pause long enough to make sure your agreement is intentional. Because when you think for yourself inside a group, you don't weaken it, you strengthen it. Awareness is the first step. Courage is the next, and both start quietly. Until next time, keep questioning, keep reflecting, and keep choosing growth over comfort. And as always, make it worth your wellness. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will be back next week. I don't know if we'll be live Monday. Fort Hill starts their playoffs, and I told Channing I would go to some of the games. I think they play Monday night. So if we don't go live Monday, we'll be live Tuesday. All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you next week.
Make